If you've been scrolling through endless listings, watching video after video, and still can't decide which wine fridge actually makes sense for your home bar, this review is the one that should finally clear things up. I've spent the last couple of weeks reading what owners of dual-zone wine coolers are saying, looking at how they set them up in tight kitchen corners, and even checking a few forums where people argue about shelf spacing versus bottle count. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In the next few minutes I'll walk through the real-world pros and cons of the Koolatron Grand Series 173-bottle dual-zone compressor wine fridge so you can decide whether it's worth the floor space and the price. First off, let's talk about why a dual-zone matters. Most casual wine enthusiasts keep everything at a single temperature, but if you have a mix of reds, whites, and some sparkling that you plan to serve right away, you'll quickly notice the difference. The Grand Series splits the interior into two chambers. The top zone stays a tad warmer, perfect for a red wine collection that likes to breathe, while the bottom zone can chill your whites and champagne down to the crisp 45°F range. The compressor system means the fridge maintains those temps without the kind of vibration you see in thermoelectric units, which can be a silent killer for delicate bubbles. In practice, I've seen people set their lower zone to 50°F for Pinot Gris, then open the top compartment and pour a Merlot with no noticeable temperature shift. That's the kind of everyday reliability that matters when you're entertaining friends who ask for a chilled glass of something different every hour. Now, who should actually buy this piece? If you run a small bar in an apartment, host weekly wine tasting parties, or simply have a growing collection that's outgrowing a countertop cooler, the 173 bottle capacity is a real tipping point. The rolling beechwood shelves glide out smoothly, letting you pull a full row of bottles out without having to shuffle each one individually. That's a huge convenience when you're pulling a bottle from the middle of a large batch for a quick pour. Homeowners with a dedicated wine room or a freestanding spot in a basement will appreciate the front venting design, which lets you tuck the unit under a countertop or slip it into a built-in niche without worrying about heat buildup at the back. If you're a serious collector who wants to keep a range of vintages organized and temperature-controlled, this fridge checks most of those boxes. On the flip side, there are clear reasons to skip it. First, the sheer size of the machine means you need a decent amount of floor space, roughly the footprint of a small wardrobe. If your kitchen or entertainment room is already cramped, you might end up sacrificing pantry shelves or a hallway to fit it in. Also, while the dual zone is a highlight, it does introduce a bit of a learning curve. Users have reported that the temperature dials on each side can be a little less precise than you'd like. You might have to let the unit run a full day after adjusting the setting before you see the actual temperature settle in. Finally, the price point sits higher than many single-zone models, so if you only store one type of wine or don't need a 173 bottle capacity, you're probably paying for features you'll never really use. Let's get into the practical strengths. The compressor cooling system is the real workhorse here. Compared with thermoelectric or absorption coolers, the compressor keeps the inside temperature stable even when the ambient room temperature swings by 20°F. I saw a homeowner in a sunny California condo who noted that on hot summer afternoons the fridge still held steady at the set temperature, and the bottles didn't sweat. The dual-zone design, as mentioned, lets you separate reds and whites without having to buy a second unit. The wood rolling shelves are not just about aesthetics, they're sturdy enough to hold a full row of heavier bottles, and the beech material won't snag labels, which is a small but appreciated detail when you rotate your collection for inventory checks. Front venting means you can install the unit in a built-in cabinet with a simple cutout at the front, and the heat is expelled forward rather than into a tight back compartment, preventing the surrounding cabinets from heating up. Now the weaknesses. The biggest hidden trade-off is the noise level. Because it's a compressor unit, there is a faint humming that you can hear if the fridge is placed right next to a living room wall or a bedroom. It's not a roar, but for audiophiles who keep a TV on low during dinner parties, the constant buzz can be a slight nuisance. Another practical issue is the door seal. Some owners mentioned that the door can feel a bit loose after a few months of heavy use, leading to a slight loss of cold air and a need to tighten the hinges. It's not a catastrophic failure, but it's something you have to monitor and maybe